tell us out there what BC Slots is all about.
That's a dirty, low-down monkey with a wig on.
Hi, everyone. So I've been taking a little bit of a break. You can call it a vacation per se, but guess what? I'm back, bitches. I'm back, bitches. Following up on my last drama video with Jason from King Jason Slots, I have a new explosive video for you all. So strap in, get your popcorn ready, and let's go. So in this video, I am going to show you some clips from 2 interviews that were given by Britt and Sister Christopher. And I find them to be quite interesting. So we're going to play them and we're going to talk about them. There's some pretty candid talk on both of their parts in these interviews that they gave. And I don't know if people have seen them, but you guys need to see this. It's interesting. So let's put on our detective hats. Strap in, kids. I'm about to open the vault. Let's begin. So we are going to begin with Britt's interview. She was interviewed by some guy with a small channel. I don't even know his name. It's irrelevant. But she gave an interview. He, was the type of interview where questions are asked back and forth. And he had some interesting questions for her. So let's just dive right into it because this is a mess beyond belief.
It is. It's 100% a super smart idea for any casino to have Brian out, because on any given day, we meet 100, 200 fans who all come out to see Brian. And I can guarantee you that that person is not coming to the casino to see Brian take a photo and leave. They're coming to gamble. They're coming to eat. They're coming to stay the night, like all those things. It's a huge moneymaker for them.
Win-win.
And that's not even including the publicity that they get from the videos themselves that we then publish after we finish our filming. Right. So it's a huge benefit to the casinos and also the slot manufacturers. They're our other biggest partners. Is we work with the game creators because they want people to understand how their games work. And, for people, they don't necessarily want to pour their money into a game not knowing if they're going to like it. And rather than that, they can watch our videos. And so those manufacturers are some of our biggest advocates, especially when it comes to like the casinos who are like, well, I don't know if the manufacturers are going to let you film and show their games. And we're like, trust me, they want more than anything.
Oh, that's all they want. That's all they want.
So this is kind of setting it up for the next couple of videos that I'm going to show. When Brian actually gave his interview, what she's saying is it makes sense for a casino to bring them out because they in turn bring players out. The players come, they spend money, they eat, they do all the things that us gamblers do at casinos, obviously spend and lose money. But to actually hear it out of their mouths that they're using in a way their subscribers to promote themselves, it was definitely interesting to actually hear it out of their mouths. As far as my opinion is concerned, I thought that it was very interesting because I never would have thought that they would have actually mouthed those words and admitted to something like that. But let's continue on with Britt's interview.
That's very interesting. Any backlash from any out there, any groups out there? Because this day and age, everybody is negative, as you can see what's going on in the world. But, any backlash out there?
First of all, it's not negativity, okay? It's reality, okay? People always have something to say. People always have something to say about me. People have things to say about me doing these videos. It doesn't mean that it's negative. It's called an opinion. But let's hear her response.
Not from like any big groups, because I think the reasonable, like educated person who watches our channel overall, they can see that we do show wins and losses, and that we are very vocal about responsible gambling. We do get occasional commenters, as you are going to get in any industry, and anytime you put yourself out there online, we get some commenters who throw some hate out there. But I think our work and what we put out speaks for itself, in showing that we are very responsible in how we do this, and what we promote, for sure. Brian has really always kept a very positive attitude about everything, and that's one thing that we promote. We always show that we're having fun, and we never say anything negative about another person, another casino, a game, whatever. We keep everything very positive, upbeat, and I really believe that you get back what you put out there. So because we maintain that positivity all the time, the audience that we've curated really are very positive.
The audience that we curated. Interesting choice of words.
People, and people realize very quickly that if they try to bring any negativity to our comment section or our live chats
Shut them
live
down.
streaming, that exactly.
Yeah.
Well, not even that we shut them down, it's that they're not going to get any attention. We don't give them any response or any reaction. And so it's not fun for them because they're not getting any reaction out of us. So they leave. And we don't want those people in our fan base anyway. You know, if you're disagreeing with us or you want to be super negative, we have a lot of people who are really great fans and are so supportive. And those are the people we want around us anyway.
So what she's saying there is that if you do have an opinion, but it's not an opinion that they agree with or something that they deem negative, they don't want any part of it. So constructive criticism is not allowed over there, or the truths or anything else. I just found that clip to be a little interesting because obviously, you know, I'm always deemed negative by putting out these videos, and that's fine. And, you know, you get all the people that come along with it and claim jealousy, and you wish that you could be him and have all that he has. And I'm okay with that. I leave those comments up. I actually think that they're funny. And I do agree with her that it just comes with the territory. When you put yourself out there, you get great comments and you get nasty comments, and you just roll with the punches. But she definitely said that if you have any negative opinions or things of that nature, she has no interest in it, and you will be banished. So let's move on to the next clip, because as we go on with her interview, which her interview was pretty short, but once we get into Brian's interview, that's where things get good.
Are blowing up, huh? Are you amazed at it,
They
or
are.
is it? It's like a team. It seems to me it's like a team that's, you know, in first place, and you know, you just World Series is right around the corner. Do you have any competition? Any competition?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of slot channels out there. It's become a very popular thing, especially in the last couple of years. I think, honestly, from a lot of people who gamble a lot and they think that this will be a fun way to maybe subsidize some of their gambling income or gambling budgets there. There are a handful of other channels, though, that are close in the number of viewers, but the big difference is that we're really the only channel right now that runs this as a full-time business. There are a couple that are starting to transition to that, I believe, where this will be more of their full-time gig. But we treat this as a business. We run it as a business, and it's a full-time job for, like I mentioned, 7 people. So it's a career for us. It's not something that's just a side hobby. So we take it very seriously, and I think that is reflected in the quality of work that we put out. So it's a great community out there, though. We have a lot of good relationships with a variety of different slot channels that we see and collaborate with on a fairly regular basis. So I think we're a little separated from everybody, but we still are great friends with a lot of the community.
So I wrote some things down because I actually, you know, I watched this video in its entirety. I do this work for you guys, believe me. I don't want to watch this 45-minute interview with Britt and this hour-long video with Brian Christopher just for shits and giggles, okay? I do this for you guys. Number one, I find that her saying that no other channels are doing this as a business, how does she know that? Does she, how do they know that? I don't know their business and they don't know my business. I don't know what they have in their bank account. They don't know what I have in my bank account. So how can you make that statement in an interview that no other channels are doing this as a business? And if I remember correctly, 2 or 3 channels have already stated that, you know, they're in this, you know, as a business to make money, and they quit their jobs and they're all in. That's a business. So I find that, number one, either she's ill-educated or she's lying. I would probably go with lying, but that's just me. The other interesting thing that I found was that he now has a staff of 7 people on his payroll, which is a pretty large staff to run a slot channel. Now, I am, you know, a 10th, maybe a 20th of his size channel, and I do everything by myself. And I know personally that SD Guy does everything by himself. That seems like a large staff. That's pretty big staff. I wonder, you know, see, someone like me who has a degree in business management, I could probably cut that staff of 7 down to probably 3. You know, if you want to pay people out the ass and make less profit, Sister Christopher, that's on you. So this is the last video from Britt's interview that I wanted to show you guys that I find to be quite interesting, I guess you would say.
Might be in Australia. It's crazy. It really is. So the pandemic hit. Scary time. How did it affect business for you? I guess initially it did, and then after that, tell me how it's going.
So we were very, very grateful because we do treat this as a business and it is full-time income for all of us. We always film roughly 6 to 8 weeks in advance.
Okay.
So we are always like, the videos we were just recording this week won't be posted till June. So we thankfully made it with about 4 or 5 days to spare with having brand new content on our regular schedule. No.
Okay, now I want to pause this for a second because I find this to be very, very crucial. So if you remember the video when Sister Christopher went out to Idaho for the first casino that opens up in the United States, you know, I put out that video. If you didn't watch it, you should. It's pretty interesting. You know, she broke laws to leave California to go to Idaho, even though she denies it. And Britt made a public statement saying that everything that they did was legal, which it was not legal. And I showed the proof that it wasn't legal. But it kind of makes me feel good because I know the reason why he ran out there so fast was because she just said they only had 4 or 5 days of videos left. And it's a business for him, as we all know this now. And if he doesn't have any new videos for his channel, that means that, you know, him and the staff of 7 can't get paid. So he had to run out to Idaho. So it makes sense why he had to break all these laws to go out to Idaho to film new content for his channel. But let's keep listening.
Adjustments every single day leading up to it. And we were actually in Las Vegas when they made the announcements that things are starting to close and that Las Vegas is going to close tomorrow kind of thing. And so we actually extended our trip a day and we just filmed nonstop to make sure we had enough content, especially filming videos that we could put out as premieres that would mirror our live streams for that schedule. And so because of that, we were able to make it through the whole actual shutdowns. And then Brian went out right away to the very first casino in Idaho that reopened. It was the very first one in the country that chose to reopen because majority of casinos in the US are Native American owned and operated. Sure. And are on tribal land. So they have sovereignty and can open whenever they want to. They didn't have to close with any state guidelines. And so we started going back to casinos.
They do. They are an Indian reservation, but the airports that you traveled in and out of are not. And the roads that you traveled on were not Indian reservations. Thus, you broke the law, but we'll continue.
right away, because we felt like it was definitely our responsibility almost to show people in our audience what casinos looked like now, what safety measures they were taking, how they were protecting their guests. And really, like, it's one thing for the casino to say, oh, we're doing XYZ to keep you safe. But it's like, of course, the business is going to say that they're doing everything they can to keep you safe, right? Instead, our audience was able to watch Brian and watch on his live streams and see for themselves exactly what was happening and be able to make the decision with more information as to whether they felt safe to go back to the casinos. And so we partnered with a lot of different casinos to help showcase that and help regain the trust of their guests to understand what was happening and be able to go back. And so the pandemic was actually, it makes me feel guilty to say this, but it was actually a pretty good thing for us. We've continued to grow and be successful during it. I think for a variety of reasons, you know.
Is that a good thing to say? The pandemic was good for you guys? Again, where are the PR people?
Including a lot of people, especially like in Canada and other countries that are still very strict and shut down. They can't go to the casino, and so they're watching Brian play.
Vicariously, they can still live. Right, exactly.
Exactly. Like we mentioned before, they kind of get that feeling of gambling even though they're still at home. Right. And so we've really been able to grow and continue that.
So that concludes Britt's interview. The good talking points from her interview I pulled out. I just thought that it was interesting that, you know, they brought up going to the first casino that opened in the country and wanting to gain the viewers' trust that the casinos are safe, which how would they know that when that was their first casino that they were going to? It was like when I went to the first casino that opened up, I couldn't answer you and tell you if it was safe until after. And how do I know? So I'm there, I could think it's safe, but then I get home and a week later, I have the Rona. So you can't really say that. So all those live streams that he did from that casino when it first opened, he's sitting there telling people that it's safe, but you don't really know that it's safe. You can't speak for that yet. You can tell people what precautions they're taking. But we didn't know back then when that casino opened up such a long time ago. The pandemic was still going on when that casino opened up, you know, because it was an Indian reservation and they were able to do what they wanted to do, like she said. It's just them spinning it, I guess, their own way. Let's move on to the good stuff. I know that this is what you guys want to hear. You want to hear it from the horse's mouth, right? So Sister Christopher did her own interview with a panel of people, industry professionals. The Slot Cats actually also did an interview, and Slot Lady and Slotaholic, and their interviews were interesting. The Slot Cats one I watched, and the Lady Luck and Slot Lady one. Not really anything interesting to write home about in those videos, but the obvious Sister Christopher video had some interesting facts in there. So let's just dive in. Let's go.
You know, that's also the job of a social influencer, is just to throw in random stuff without them knowing that they're getting thrown things in their face. And I do that all the time. It's you know, I'll be playing a game and I have to remember, like, every day I get another, you know, 500 subscribers on YouTube, and every day I get another 1,500 followers on Facebook. These people maybe have never seen this game before, or they've never played a slot machine before. So I have to find a nice fine line between explaining everything about every game every single time, because I have fans that know everything already, and they don't want to be, you know, talked down to on every single thing. So I'll dumb it down. So I'll be like, all right, guys, here we go. We're playing Ultimate Firelink. We got to get either 6 of these fireballs or 3 free game symbols for the bonus. Let's go. And then if something random happens on the screen, I'll shout it out, like, oh, here's this happening now. And then on the flip side, you know, we throw in a lot of different amenities that we see at hotels or on their gaming floor. We'll talk about their players cards. You know, a lot of casinos want me to talk about their players card and all the benefits they get. And so it's not going to be Brian standing in front of a camera being like, this is a new players card. If you guys use this card today, you get 10% of the buffet. You know, no one wants to listen. They're going to change the channel right there. you're going to be playing the game, and I'll be like, oh, look at that, we've already got 500 points in our players card, we now have enough to get a free hot dog. Wicked, let's keep on playing. You know, something that's just as easy as that. Just throw it into the conversation, seamlessly, and you know, they'll trust me and they'll take my word for it that, oh, it's a good deal. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah.
So they'll trust you and take your word for it. Wow. So that's how you feel about your subscribers. I can't. I fucking can't. I fucking can't. They'll trust you. They'll trust me and take my word for it. And you're dumbing things down because your audience is dumb? I didn't understand that. And then I found it interesting that he is then getting into things that the casinos want him to actually talk about, because as we go on in these videos, in these questions and answers that he gave, he will tell you, obviously, that the casinos are paying him to come out there. And he is essentially now their spokesperson. So when he says, you know, the casinos might want me to talk about my player's card or whatnot, he is now essentially, you know, contracted by the casino. But that was just an opener to this interview, which I just wanted to start with that because I found that answer to that question to be interesting. But let's keep going, and then we'll talk some more.
Certain trust level. Okay, Brian knows what he's doing. Okay, he's good now. But we'll still have those talking points that they're going to send over to me. I usually ask for like 5 talking points, so we can include at least one in every video. And then during our live streams, I'll just throw them up there throughout the live stream as we're talking about the casino. And then when we get on property, if it's a new property, yeah, we'll do a walkthrough. Or if it's an older property I've already been to, they might want to show me, oh, this is our newest high limit room, we just put it together, or here's a brand new game, we'd love you to show this video of this game off. We appreciate that a lot, you know, and it's nice to get those tours and some more face-to-face time with them too.
So he's pretty much saying, you know, the casinos are going to tell him what they want him to promote, you know, cards, players' cards, restaurants, new slot machines, whatever the case may be. Just like any marketing person, the client will tell them what they want. So, you know, the casino is the client, his client, and they will tell him what they want him to talk about. To hear that out of his mouth, I don't know if he's ever publicly said that before. I guess this video probably isn't public. It's not a YouTube video. It's on this company's website that he, you know, gave, you know, this interview for. So maybe he didn't think that many people would find this video. I'm not really sure, but I found it. Let's keep going.
Yeah, I mean, so there are metrics you can follow, and if you do follow like what they tell you to go by, and including like how much watch time you're getting and stuff like that, it literally says in my one video is worth around $90,000 in ads spent. So we don't charge that. I don't know why we don't. We got to do that, by the way. You know, but for the amount of eyes that we get on a video and the amount of time that they will sit and watch our videos, like most videos on YouTube, you're lucky if you get 2 or 3 minutes out of it, of people watching it. Our average watch time is 18.5 minutes. Like, that's ridiculous. Very, very high numbers. So we'll give them those kind of stats. We'll let them know about engagement and what they can pretty well expect from the average video. Some are going to be better than other ones, but you know, we are hitting at least 80,000 pretty well on every video right now, and that's just on YouTube side. And then we have Facebook, which is another 80,000 views as well.
Okay, so here he got into his YouTube analytics, and he's you know, saying how he markets himself to the casinos. Now, number one, there's a website where you could plug in your channel information, plugs his channel in, and this website says, you know, your video is worth $90,000 in ads. It's essentially bullshit. It's like, you know, when you look up a house on Zillow and it says the house is worth $2.5 million, and then a realtor comes and says your house is worth $2 million. It's over exaggerated. Speaking of over exaggerated, he said that the average view duration of a video is 2 to 3 minutes. There's truth to that. It's not a full picture. So when you upload a video to YouTube, I just want to let you guys understand this a little bit more, because he's telling the truth, but he's also lying. So when he says that the average view duration is 2 to 3 minutes, if you upload a 5-minute video, it probably does have a 2 to 3 minute average view duration, because usually it floats around 50 to 60%. 70% is amazing for analytics. So when he says that he has an 18.5 average view duration, most likely that's on a 50-minute video. So he's not telling you the truth, because every video is not 50 minutes long, or maybe the video is 40 minutes. But obviously you can't have an 18.5, 18.5 minute video duration if your video is only 10 minutes long. So he's saying that his average view duration is 18.5, and maybe that's across his whole channel, but that's because he's uploading very long videos that could be an hour long. They could be 40 minutes long. It's not showing a whole picture. And I'm wondering now if he's actually marketing himself to casinos and saying, I get 18.5 minutes average view duration, but he's not telling the casino that that's based on a 40-minute video. So I don't know how, what's in his market package to casinos, but him saying 2.3 minutes is like the average, but he's getting 18. That's not true. That's a lie. And he knows that's a lie. That's not telling the whole picture. It's just giving a little bit of information with not telling everything else that's going on. So that was complete bullshit that he told these people on this panel. That's not how it works, is it, Christopher? And it doesn't. At least be honest. If your average view duration is 18.5 minutes, make sure you state that it's based upon an average video length of 40 or 50 minutes or whatever the case may be. This video could be 20 minutes long and the average view duration might be 10 minutes, could be 8 minutes, could be 15 minutes. I don't know, but it's not going to be 2 to 3 minutes on a 20-minute video. That would be a terrible, terrible, terrible video. And I'm sure you're watching all of this in its entirety because you love me, right? Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, well, we take anything that they want us to say. Like if they want us to promote something in particular, then yeah, we'll include that. And if they have their own hashtags or anything as well, we'll include that the same. So another way we can actually also prove to casinos like our worth, like what we did with Seven Feathers, is we provided them a list of all of our attendees that are coming for the events, along with their players card numbers, so they can track the play from the fans that come. And through that, we were able to find out what the average theo is per guest and how much money that they made off of those people just for coming. And in every single instance, we have tracked those numbers with our players. The amount that we charge for the visit, they make it back and more from that alone, from the gameplay alone from those people. So that doesn't include our videos going up, so they're still getting all that on top of it. So
there's a lot here. There's a lot. So obviously he's speaking about more promotions for casinos that they can use him to market. But this was a huge, huge red flag for me when he's saying that he provides a list of players to the casino, and then they track their play, their average theoretical, how much they made off of these people. So I'm not saying that this money that the casinos make is, well, it kind of is going into his pocket, because he's coming to these casinos now and saying, I have this Rolodex of players. Here are their theoreticals. Here's how much the casino makes off of them. Have me come out. These people will come. These people will lose this amount of money. Pay me $10,000 or pay me whatever. I don't know what he gets paid, but I'm just saying this is very alarming, because people think that he is this great person. And this is what I've always said, is that, he smiles to your face, but you're just a number to him. And this really proves it, especially this coming out of his mouth, saying that we're now tracking players, we're tracking theoretical, we're tracking how much a casino made off of them. That is super alarming to me. And listen, if he wants to do it, I'm not saying that that's illegal or anything like that, but I feel like you need to be upfront with your viewers about stuff like this, because now you're getting into the point where you are making money off of them losing. I'm not saying that he's getting a percentage of their loss, but you were saying that I can bring these 100 people, and these 100 people equate to this amount of money for the casino, and then the casino gives you a finder's fee or whatever you want to call it. That's disgusting. That is disgusting. I'm sorry. I don't care what anyone says. You can call me every name in the book. I am appalled by that. I think that is gross. I think that if you got yourself to the point of doing this, great, good for you. It's your business, but you need to be honest with people. And that is, I'm sorry, that is low down and dirty. I can't. That's really bad. You can have your own opinion about it, and you could say that I'm wrong. No, I'm not wrong. That's fucked up. That's fucked up, because you know what, these people, they watch your videos, they like you, that's all great, but like like you said, you're gaining their trust, and then you're using them to line your pockets. And I'm the devil of the slot community? Really? Okay, let's move on.
So you can provide a list if you're doing an event where your folks, where your fans, your Rudies are coming. You can provide them the property with a list of who those people might be and the cards they have. So are you taking RSVPs, or is that how you do it to be able to collect that information?
Yeah, people, they have to sign up for a spot on our meet and greets or our group slot polls, and we'll ask them for their player ID number if they have one. If they don't, we get the information from them that we need to make them a card, and then we can offer them. You know, what works really well is if the casino throws in a $10 free play or something like that, so they can then take that free play to get their free card or with their free card. And so again, that allows us to be able to track their play, so we can share that with them.
So again, it's just, she asked the question. Maybe she was as shocked as I was hearing this. So she actually circled back to it and asked how he does it. So yeah, he's actively admitting that he is now keeping a Rolodex of Rudy's and subscribers' players' card numbers, and using it as a marketing tool for himself to get casinos to pay him to come out there. I just can't. When's it gonna end? This is too much. This is too much. It's gone too far. I put out a lot of videos about Sister Christopher and her antics, but I'm sorry, but this for me tops the cake. I guess I always knew this, but to actually have the receipts coming out of the horse's mouth for me is just, what the fuck is going on? Oh my God, she has everyone's players cards now. And she's using the viewers of the slot community and their loss at a casino to line her pockets. Just let that sink in for a second. And she's not even being honest about it. I can't do it. It's too much. All right, this is the last video. Here we go.
Influencer marketing, right? Is that something that you like embrace, the fact that you're an influencer, or do you prefer something different? Content creator, actor, like what is the preference there?
I mean, on the professional level, yeah, I'm a social influencer and I accept that. But like outside of these kind of settings, I like to just be called Brian Christopher. Like I'm just a person, and that's what I want to be to my fans too. Like, I'm not a spokesperson for Christina. Like I am, I guess, but I'm not like, I can't think of the word I'm trying to find. I'm not a mascot. Everything I say is real and I believe it. And so I want people just to just call me Brian.
Number one, he says that he's not a spokesperson for casinos, but then he says, I guess I am, because if you're being paid for them, if you're being paid by them, then of course you're a spokesperson. So you are the spokesperson for whatever casinos are paying you to promote their property. What I found interesting was that he says, I actually believe if you're being paid by the casino, are you going to talk bad about it? No, right? You can't. You're the spokesperson. You can't say how you really feel about the casino. So can you really believe what you're saying? Your judgment is now clouded by money because you're a spokesperson. So if there's something that you don't like about the casino, or maybe you feel unsafe at the casino, you can't say that about the casino. But other slot channels who aren't spoken for by casinos can speak their mind, because I can tell you that there are casinos that I have gone to that I don't feel safe at. Now, if they were paying me, I couldn't say that, right? So how can you actually believe everything? So this goes back to, this really now goes back to his videos and his live streams. And now you have to take into question everything that he says, if it's true or not, because you're now being paid by the casinos to be their spokesperson. So what's true now and what's not true? And when you're gambling, what money is yours and what is the casino giving you to play with? Because you are now a contractor of the casino. So are those wins and those losses even yours anymore? It's becoming like the Wizard of Oz. It is just a land of make-believe. It was all a dream. I may have gotten a little bit too far there, because we all know that I like Wizard of Oz. But I'm just saying, you get where I'm going with this. These videos were so interesting to me. Thank you for watching the video. Thumbs up, subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you on the next drama video. Toodaloo.
And let's talk about the subject at hand. Now, if you want to talk about cheating, or do you want to talk about your income? Now, which one do you want to talk about? You know what I said is truth, and the truth hurts.